What's up everyone, it's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my drawing C3PO series. In part 1, which came out yesterday, you can go check that out, the link to it is in the description below. I did the line art and the inking I did the sketch and the line art / inking for C3PO, and now today I'm going to be going in with the values, which is the grayscale, and then the color on top of the grayscale. Now, for those of you that aren't too familiar with my technique, I've done a few videos on it, but I will just explain it again. I use Copic sketch markers. This is all traditional. This is not digital, and so, you know, there's no Control Z. There's no undoing it. Once it's down, it's down. And you're going to see me add a lot of ink to this. It's nothing to be alarmed about. Don't freak out because I'm layering my inks. It does not affect the paper. It does not, hinder the drawing in any way. The way that I would like to explain it to people is that, the Egyptians didn't build a pyramid by just putting one block down. You build up colors. I'm one of those people. I like high contrast things, so I build up my color. But enough of me just talking, without showing it. Let's get right into the drawing, guys. Alright, so as you can see, I have my line drawing already done. I erased as much of the pencil as I could. Obviously, there's going to be some remnants of it because red is a staining color. Now, you're going to see me go in very dark with some of these grays because when you're dealing with metal, it's very high contrast next to, light contrast. So for me to explain that better is when you're looking at something that's got a reflective surface like C3PO, the reason why it has the type of sheen to it is because obviously metal is very different than skin. Our skin doesn't have that shine to it, so we don't have a dark next to one of the lighter values like white. That's something that's unique to metals, and so I'm going to be building up this dark with my Copic sketch markers. And yes, the ink does bleed. Don't worry about it. I will fix it. One of the things about working with inks is that it's kind of like painting in a way, is that it gets, because I need to do this fast. If the ink dries, it's not going to blend well, and I'm one of those people. I like the seamless look. When you're doing metal, however, you do want to have some hard lines, and I emphasize that. You can kind of see where his nose would be, and then on some of the ridges of his face. But one of the things about metal is, and a thing about shadows in general, is there's going to be a core shadow, which is usually that's where the darkest part is, but then you always have the highlight next to it, especially when it comes to metal. And so that's going to be, you're going to see the high contrast. You could see it in his eyes and his face, and then as you can see on other parts of his body, I'm just going down and laying a basic value, because when you're working with Copics and you're just adding down values, you want to make sure that the area that you're working with, you lay down the base color, and then you stay in one area and you build up in that area before it dries, because once it dries, you're not going to have that smooth transition. And that's kind of the key to when you are doing, like right now on his shoulder, you're going to see how I add that transition, and I'm working as fast as possible to make sure that transition happens as smoothly as possible. And then in other places where I purposely make sure that there's lines, as you can see, like I'm doing on his arm and on his hand. You can see that transition from where the hand joint connects to his arm. That's a smooth transition, where on the arm part, that is where the light is reflecting, so that's why there are those harsh lines. And you have to really make sure that you're looking at reference, so that way you can capture that look of metal, because metal has a very unique look to it. For some people, drawing metal is hard because of this. Other people, it's the easiest thing in the world. One of my recommendations is, if you want to learn how to draw metal, I would highly recommend starting off with something like charcoal or chalk, because that's something that you can just smooth with your fingers, or a cotton ball, or some kind of blending tool, because when you're doing that, you don't have to work fast. You want to try to work, you do always want to try to work fast. I'm not gonna niche you on that. Some people do like to take their time. They like to go second by second, and just as slowly drawn out. But one of the things about being an artist is you need to produce work, and you need to do it as fast as possible, but also make sure that it looks good. And practice does make perfect, so the more that you practice, the better at it you'll get. But I would highly recommend, if you want to learn how to draw metals, is to really look into using something like chalk or charcoal, maybe even like pastels or new pastels. That way you don't have to rely too much on worrying about not getting these transitions in, and worrying about something drawing before you can get it done. And that's just some way that you can just put it down on paper, you can practice, you can learn, and it's a great way, those are great tools for learning techniques, not so much as finished illustrations, although some people do like that. That's not something that's as popular in today's day and age, just because there are other mediums out there like Copics. And you can see how on part of his chest blade, you can see how I did a smooth transition on one side, whereas a harsh transition on the other. That's because that is where the light is coming from. That's why there's going to be those hard brush strokes, those hard transitions. And that's why on one of his arms it's smoother, the transitions, as you can see, because that part is, kind of back. There's that foreshortening of his arm, whereas the other arm, there's the hard lines. And again, my lighting is a little bit weird. There's some kind of blotchiness in the inks that you cannot see that in person. It's something that only gets picked up in cameras. Other artists that I've seen, because I'm trying to, see what kind of camera is best for filming when I do, marker stuff like this. And it's kind of hard to find information on it, but there's some artists that I've seen that do it, and, it just looks perfect. It looks exactly like it does in real life, and I want to try to find out how I can emulate that better, but this is the best I can do with the tools that I have currently. But just, I want everyone to know I am looking into it. I don't know why it looks like this on camera. I'm trying my best to work with the lighting, to work with, the settings on everything, to make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, but still there's a little bit of a disconnect. So I will show the finished sketch at the end of this video so you guys can see that there's not this weird blotchiness as you can see on the chest piece. And so after I'm done with the values, and like I say, value does all the work, color does all the credit, I go over with yellows, and you can see these aren't very dark yellows, these are kind of lighter colors, and then I just go over it. Now, some people like to incorporate like greens or reds when they're using metal. I really like yellow. It's my favorite color. That's why you see my little branding thumbnail thing in the corner of all my videos that says "That Star Wars Girl." It's yellow because yellow is my favorite color. It's just a happy color. It makes me happy. C3PO is more of a gold. So what I do when you're doing gold, I have I guess I wouldn't say a hard time doing golds, but when it's with markers, getting it to show up as more gold instead of yellow, it can be a little bit tricky. So what I did was I went in with a more of a green tinted yellow, and then I'll go in with a warmer, dark, rich type of yellow in the shadows. And so you can kind of see now how the tip of this one, it was a lot darker than the one that I've been using for the highlighted areas. And so then, of course, I outline this with a gel pen. That way it gets that nice, clean outline look. Also, if you're going to bring something like this into Photoshop, there you go. Perfect outline for you. You can just go and use the lasso tool. It takes out your character perfectly. You can adjust anything on it. You can, maybe put it in something else. This is just something that I found handy. And again, I do the circle technique because it makes it look good in my sketchbook when I'm doing portfolio reviews. And so I just take the gel pen and I go and I add these highlights, because unlike a human, again, C3PO is made out of metal, so he has those sharp highlights. And then doing this, it emphasizes it against those, harsh, darker values. And you can see it just it looks shiny. And like I said before in the part 1 of this video, every artist has their own style. Obviously, this is not like a photorealistic C3PO. This is my, I would say, stylized realism. I add my own little twist to it. And that way, all of my characters, or all the characters that I draw in my sketchbook, look alike. I did an entire collection, I think it was last year or the year before, of Fimorcs. And, the way that I drew them is the same way I drew C3PO, and these Fimorcs that were inspired by World of Warcraft look like they could be in the same universe as C3PO based on the way that they're drawn. And there you go, there is my finished C3PO. I hope you guys liked this. I hope you guys found this intriguing, and yeah, I know there's a lot to learn when it comes to drawing metal. I can do more tutorials on that. Just let me know, and I can look into that. But let's take a look at the sketch in real life. Alright, I'm still trying to work with this just to get the lighting right. The lighting is weird. It's like I have to like fold this like that and you can kind of see, but this is how big it is. I'll be posting pictures of this again. Cameras don't really work too well when I do these videos just because I don't know, it picks up all this blotchiness which you can't see in real life. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And let me know what you thought in the comments below. Again, if there's any other characters you want me to see, let me know. I'm taking down, you know, lists. I'm making a list of characters. If there's a character you really want to see me draw, let me know and I will look into it. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little bell. That way you get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.